Hey guys, we are 5 weeks out from the 2016 Arnold Classic. This was an interesting week of training for me just due to the fact I was coming back, getting over my travel to Brazil. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the deadlift this week. I tried a couple different things. I'm going to talk a little bit about the dumbbell since that topic just came up last week, and just overall training this week. So this week of training was really interesting just due to the fact I got back from Brazil on Monday morning. And, obviously that's a 5-hour time difference for me. So just coming back from that and getting over that quick trip, time change, competing, it was very challenging. And typically it tends to take me about a week to get over an international trip like that. I actually think I got over it quicker than that. It took me, I felt like a couple days, and I was right back into the swing of things. And I think it was just due to the fact that I've done international travel so many times, and it was a little bit easier from that perspective. I just stayed up all day on Monday, even though I was a little bit tired, and got right back into my sleep cycle. And I think that really helped out overall with jumping right back in. I did a lot of recovery work and just try to stay hydrated. And so I think I did a good job. I was a little worried how that trip would affect my training, but overall, I think it worked out really well. So yeah, I was happy with that. I don't feel like I skipped a beat really with training, which was awesome. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the deadlift, just due to the fact I said last week I was going to try a different bar setup and throw myself a little bit of a curveball with the training there. I ended up setting the deadlift up on the 14-foot bar that we normally would do the Hummer tire deadlift on. I just spaced the plates out a little bit wider, and I feel like I ended up getting a little bit more flex out of that bar. It definitely felt a lot different than deadlifting on a normal deadlift bar. So I was happy with how that came through. It was definitely a lot different pull than I'm used to. And so I was really happy. I feel like it was a win, from that angle, just due to the fact that I don't know what the bar is going to feel like when we get to the Arnold. So I'd rather throw myself some curveballs in training and make the deadlift even harder in training. And then, coming into the contest, I'm going to be more comfortable with a different bar. But if I were to train only with one bar, I think that I would get used to pulling on that one bar and probably wouldn't be as ready for the contest. So, it's just a theory right now. So I'm hoping that pays off when we get to the Arnold. Last week, I let you guys know that we were going to be having the option of doing a heavier dumbbell this year, which will be 300 pounds. And then the lighter dumbbell, is going to be 274 pounds. So obviously that, as soon as I found that out last week, that became my new goal, and doing reps on that. So I threw my training plan out the window, and this week I actually went up to a heavier dumbbell instead of working more on the reps that I've been doing. I just wanted to feel a little bit heavier weight to make sure I was on track, and I actually did really well with it. The training, I was really happy. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, jumping in, and I don't like to change my training plan like that, but just jumping head first is kind of what I decided, and it went pretty well overall. I was happy. I mean, we still have a long way to go, and going into the contest, I hope it all comes together, but today was a win. And that's all you need. You just need to have wins and then keep building on that. So, I was really happy with that, and, we'll build on it from here, and hopefully things will keep going in the right direction. All right, so let's get into a couple of your questions. And I think one question that several people have been asking a lot is, when is World's Strongest Man? And I'm going to be really honest and just say I have no clue. I don't know. I really would love to know, right now, because if it's going to be in April, I need to start throwing in some different things with training. If it's going to be in May or later, then I don't have to worry about it as much, or it could be at the end of March, and I don't know that either. So I would love to be able to tell you guys that information, but the simple fact is I just don't know, and I hope to find out soon, and that's where I'm going to have to leave that. The second question that keeps coming up is about the World Deadlift Championships held at Europe's Strongest Man every year, and that's in July, and whether or not I'm going to be going, whether or not I'm going to compete, what I'm going to pull there. And the answer that I'm going to give to that is I'm undecided right now whether or not I'm going to compete. That's a long way off for me. I'm much more focused right now on the Arnold and World's Strongest Man. And I'm going to focus on those first, and then I'll decide from there what I'm going to do. It's definitely enticing to come, and believe me, it's in the back of my mind a little bit. So we'll see, how things work out with the Arnold and World's Strongest Man, and we'll go from there. So hopefully that answers that question as well. So the last question I'm going to touch on here is, there's somebody that's asked about what kind of baseline strength do you need to get into strongman? This person kind of brought up that they could bench their body weight for reps and do kind of like a double body weight squat and deadlift, and asked if that was a good baseline to start strongman. And my answer to that is, there's not really like one baseline strength that you need to have. It's more about just jumping in head first. I started strongman. I went to my first contest. I hadn't even trained with implements before, and I just jumped in head first and said, let's just go do this. And I don't remember at that point in time what my numbers were with regard to, say, bench press or overhead press and deadlift and all that. I just said, let's just go do this. It looks like fun. And so that would be my recommendation. If you're thinking about it, strongman is a nice sport to get into, just because it's very scalable, right? So you don't have to start at 1,000-pound yoke. You can do a 300-pound yoke, or you can do a dumbbell press that's a lot lighter than, I'm talking about a 300-pound dumbbell here for the Arnold. You don't have to jump in to be able to do a 300-pound dumbbell. So strongman is very cool because, there's a beginning level, and then there's an intermediate, and you can take it as far as you want to. So I would say that if you're doing those kind of numbers, that absolutely you can jump in. I think that the main thing I will say is that you need to focus on your technique first. And so don't go to maximal weights where your form is breaking down, because that's ultimately where you can hurt yourself. Focus more at the beginning about learning how to do things correctly and the right way, so that your body is safe and that you can do it for a long time. Because longevity, this is fun. It's very fun to do, but you see a lot of people get into strongman and jump in. They don't learn the right form. They end up hurting themselves, and then they're out very quickly. So start slow, learn the right technique, and then build up from there. All right, guys, I think that's all the time we have this week. Definitely starting to get exciting. The contest is coming closer and closer. So hopefully the next 5 weeks here, we can kind of start bringing everything together and come into the Arnold ready to go. Definitely appreciate all of you checking out the videos and leaving the comments. It's awesome to be able to interact with you a little bit, and hopefully you can keep these updates going and make them even more awesome.